Good morning. I'll restart. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this very first training of District 125. I would like to warmly welcome our District Director, Distinguished Toastmasters Seema, our District Public Relationship Manager, our District Administration Manager, and many of our district officers. Last but not the least, I would also like to welcome our trainers for today, Distinguished Toastmaster Beena and Distinguished Toastmaster Usha. I don't think they need any introduction. However, I would like to reinstate that this training that we are having today, it is a training where we learn to imbibe the right flavor to become a person who would then be responsible for creating winners and leaders and orators in the World Championships. This is what this training gives us. This is a training for the contest chief judges and voting judges. And I know the two trainers are the stalwarts in this because many of us have learned these roles from them, and they are the mentors, the few of the mentors that we have in the community of Toastmasters. So with that, I would like to read out a few guidelines during the training. So many of you all have come in through registrations, so we already have your details. However, many more of us have also joined directly with the meeting link. I would request you all to please keep your videos and audios on because we'll be taking an attendance and your names with your club. The convention that has to be followed is your name underscore your club name so that we can take it as your registered attendance. Please do the needful, do rename yourself. The second guideline is this is a training which is more of a workshop, and our trainers have requested that they would want to see all of us on video throughout the session. So please do come on video and stay on video for the rest of the session. You would be required to be muted at all times. Only when you have if you have a question, and when you have a question, do drop that question in the chat, and the technical team, the Zoom masters, would be taking care of the questions along with your names, which would be answered at the end of the sessions, as would be informed by the trainers. I will again repeat, the naming convention would be any of the clubs. It's just to acknowledge a Distinguished Toastmaster Ajay. It's just to keep a record of your attendance. That's all. It's not a club's accreditation that we need. Thank you. The last but not the least, there will be questions. A lot of them, our trainers would like to answer all of them. But maybe if the time does not permit, we would answer those questions either offline, but definitely we will be adding that to the FAQ that would be available in the district website, along with the necessary materials and training documents required for this role, as well as for the contests. With that, I would like to hand it over to our trainer, starting with the Chief Judges training, Distinguished Toastmaster Beena. With a huge round of applause, I would like to welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Beena. Over to you.
Thank you very much, PQD, Sanjukta, DTN, and welcome all of you to this bright Sunday morning that we have. This morning I got up with a good feeling, and I solved all the puzzles, the Wordle, the Quaddle, and I was feeling good about myself. I said, oh, today is going to be a good day. And here I am. Now we've got 50 minutes from here because 10 minutes are already taken, 5 for grace and 5 for introduction. So I'm going to go through the key points of how to be an effective chief judge. The chief judge's role is mostly administrative, but he is overall in charge, and he has to see that the contest from start to finish is a success with minimum glitches. Of course, you cannot blame technology because very often you turn to the laptop and something is wrong. The bandwidth is less or the network is not good, but that's not in our hands. So what we can do as human beings is do our very best, commit to taking a good contest up to its final level. And as chief judge, this is what we have to do. I'll share my PPT once in a while, so that we come back again to you. Okay, so here is our chief judges training program today. Being a chief judge, what does it involve? The larger picture. The contest chair of a club appoints the chief judge for the contest. Now, the area contest is going to be held in the middle of October. So let's say 2 weeks or 3 weeks before that, generally clubs are advised to hold their club contest. The contest chair should have been chosen already. If not, in this week or next week, ask your club members to self-appoint a contest chair, and that contest chair has to look out for a chief judge. Once the chief judge agrees to be part of your contest in the club, he will have to select at least 5 voting judges and 1 tiebreaker judge. He sends out a formal mail to the voting judges, requests them to be voting judges for the said club. Please remember, do not send, hi, WhatsApp, would you like to be a judge? Hi, you know what? And no informal stuff. It has to be very formally done, preferably by email. Otherwise, if you have a WhatsApp group, which is rather private, you can approach the judges one by one and ask for their consent. The process. The judges will be given an eligibility form to fill, which we will come to later. Off and on, I'm going to do like a flashback in and out. So form to fill. At the club level, the judges have to be members in good standing of a club in good standing. As chief judge, you have to ensure that they have paid their fees and their clubs have uploaded the money to TI. That's how a club is in good standing. At area, division, or district level, you have to be a paid member for a minimum of 6 months and earned a certificate of completion in levels 1 and 2 in pathways and or CC speeches. If you're a member before the pathways is rolled out, and if you completed 6 CC speeches, that's competent communicator, you are eligible to be a judge, and 6 months in the Toastmasters fraternity. Before the contest, voting judges, timers, and counters are briefed by the chief judge. He collects his team, the voting judge, the timers, and the tally counters. Each voting judge receives an appropriate ballot counter for the contest. If it's a humorous contest, please make sure that the humorous contest ballot form is given to the chief judge, voting judge. And similarly, evaluation contest. Now, this is a humorous speech contest, judges guide and ballot. On the top are the marks that the judges will give. At the bottom, after the perforated line, is the official judge's ballot, where the judge has to mark first, second, and third place without any exception. Okay. Now, this is the evaluation contest, similar process. The chief judge asks the judge to sign the form and print their name. Both have to be done. Sign the form and print the name. An unsigned form is not valid. Now, in terms of online contest, generally chief judges send that form by mail, an editable form, to the judges. The judges fill up all the details and sign it with their digital signature. If they cannot do that, then they take a physical copy of the form, sign it, take a photograph and send it back to the chief judge. Okay, that is the process. That is the initial process that a chief judge asks the voting judge to do after confirming that they are eligible. During the contest, when all contestants have spoken, the judges will complete the ballots and enter their choices for first, second, and third place. Now, if there are two people contesting, it will obviously be first and second. You might ask, what about the third place? There is no third place. And if there is only one person contesting and the club still wants to have the contest, they can, but they have to follow all the rules with essay, timer, voting judges, chief judge, etc. And that one person has to qualify in terms of timing, eligibility, etc. So the judges will do first, second, and third place. Then they will tear off the bottom part containing the ballot and hand over the ballot to the tally counter. Now, beforehand, the chief judge and the ballot counters and the judges huddle together during the briefing, and probably the chief judge appoints a tally counter. If there are three, then or two, then one tally counter will take 3 of the judges' ballots and one more will take 2 of the judges' ballots. Okay, if there are 5 judges. If there are more, then it will be equally divided and so on and so forth. So the tally counter identifies the judges from whom he has to pick up the ballots and so on. So there's no confusion. Have you given it to me? No, I was asked by the other tally counter. Oh, sorry. All this, we don't want any drama in the auditorium. So we want a clear-cut instruction from the chief judge. The chief judge, what does he do? He will collect the timer sheet and the ballot counter from the tiebreaker judge. Now, he is the key person here, tiebreaker judge. We'll come to him. He will be not included in the communal judges briefing or community judges briefing. The 5 judges will be briefed along the tally counter, etc., by the chief judge. And the chief judge will brief the tie-breaking judge separately. Even after the judging has been done and the ballot has been torn off and handed over to the tally counter, only the chief judge will collect the ballot from the tally counter. He will then retire to the room with the tally counters who will tally the marks. If there is a tie, the chief judge will refer to the tiebreaker judge's ballot. That is why a tiebreaker is important. The tied contestant who receives the highest ranking on the tiebreaker judge's ballot will gain the contested place. Okay, hold that thought. Keep it. If you have any questions, we'll come to that later. Now, what is the criteria for how many judges at what level? Club level, 5 voting judges and 1 tiebreaker. Area level, 5 voting judges, 1 tiebreaker. Equal number of voting judges from each club. Okay, equal number of voting judges. Division, 7 voting judges, 1 tiebreaker, equal number of voting judges from each area. And the judge should not be a member of the contestants' club. Don't say, oh, he should not be a member of the area, or no, it's in the rule book, it's given equal number of voting judges for each area and not a member of the contestants' club. So if I am a judge, I am on Toastmasters club, and let's say Manali or Sandesh, who's also our own Toastmaster club member, I cannot be a judge at area level nor at district level if they've reached that. Okay, that district, 7 voting judges, 1 tiebreaker, equal number of voting judges from each division, not a member of the contestants club. Tiebreaker assigned by the judge, chief judge, before the contest. Briefing responsibilities. Chief judge briefs judges, timers, ballot counters. Contest chair briefs contestants, sergeant at arms, and test speaker separately. Now, you might ask, who chooses the test speaker in an evaluation contest? Generally, they say, we wrote to TI to find out, and TI said a contest chair chooses a test speaker. However, It is all right if the chief judge chooses a test speaker as well, because he has a wider reach. Perhaps we are assuming a chief judge is a slightly more senior person. If a contest chair is just newly appointed in that role and has no reach, maybe a chief judge can help. So they are always talking to each other. There's a dialogue between the contest chair and the chief judge, and the chief judge may help in choosing a test speaker who does not belong to the club. A contest chair is responsible for ensuring timing device, determine the location of 2 briefing rooms. If it's physical, you have to ensure that there are briefing rooms where the evaluators retire after the draw of lots and one person is speaking in the main room, then one by one the sergeant at arms calls after 1 minute is over. For evaluation, selecting test speaker and providing holding area for contestants, that we just spoke about. Providing chief judge with 2 timers and 2 to 3 ballot counters. Also, the contest chair has to select timers. And providing an SA or Zoom master for the contest if it's online. Forms for contestants such as profile sheets, eligibility forms, and draw for speaking order is also the responsibility of the contest chair. So heavy lies the head that wears the crown, they say. Here in this case, the contest chair cannot escape easily. She has to, he or she, there is no gender specific here, has to bear the burden of all this, of course, with intermittent help from the chief judge. Okay, this chief judge's kit is very important. International Speech Contest Kit, which the chief judge uses it in his binder. That contains all the certificates, participation, first, second, third. Then every certificate that is there is contained in this kit. Then the tally counters form, then the result sheet, the notifications sheet. There are about 15, 16 PDF files in this kit. Please, please access this immediately, along with the Toastmasters. What is this? Rule book, speech rule book. Okay, access this. You will have the whole thing downloaded. Take out printouts from here, keep it in your folder, and be contest ready. International Speech Contest Kits. It's available on the Toastmasters website. Okay, here, resources international. To be given to the voting judges. List of contestants in speaking order. When you're briefing them, you have to make an envelope. I remember Arvind, our earlier district director, was very methodical. He used to have the green envelope ready, A4 size green envelope for each judge, in which he gave a list of the contestants in speaking order, judges guide and ballot, speech contest rule book, judges certification of eligibility and code of ethics. All this, you have to give them, call them into the room, ask them to sign and print their names. Okay. And then if you have to give a certificate of appreciation, you have to give it to them in that folder, because they are anonymous. They are not to be called up and said, here's your certificate of congratulations, Judge 1, you've got it, you've done it, you've made it. No, you can't do that. So quietly insert a certificate of appreciation in the envelope. Keep that ready. Chief Judge's responsibility online. Ensure all judges' certificates of eligibility and ethics have been received via email earlier day with their digital signature or a photographed signature. Contestants are not qualified to judge in the contest for which he or she is competing. Your video, audio should be muted. These all we know. For the last 2 years, we've been doing this. Now the chief judge needs to see that the judges have not lost connection or walked away during the contest. So please ensure that all your judges have their names appearing as J1, J2, J3, J4, J5. Tiebreaker judge is anonymous. No one knows, only the chief judge knows. So he has no TBJ or something like that. No, he just is there. No one knows who he is. So Beena is the tie-breaking judge. No one knows I am except chief judge. So I might as well write my name as Beena Mandrekar on Toastmasters Club or whatever. Whatever the chief judge tells you to write, you may write, but mostly it's your name because you're anonymous. And during the speeches, do not make distracting motions. Or typically our video is on and we go away somewhere and then we come back. Don't do all that because it distracts the speaker. Start briefing on time, distribute certificate of appreciation or thank you notes, brief timers, let the judges know beforehand, speaking order, all that I said. Make sure the chief judge's report is being filled out and sent to the DCJ. Our very own Usha ma'am is the district chief judge, and to the next level of the contest. From the club, you have to send it to the area director, the ranking. You have the profile sheet, you have their other details. So you may enter that form as per the details given in the profile sheet. Their phone numbers, their email IDs, all that is required in the report. So you have to go home and do your homework, fill it in and send. Count your judges to make sure they are in the room. Stay in the room. No contest should be conducted without you in the room. Prepare tally sheet by filling in contestants and judges' names. Make sure to use the correct one for each contest. After each contest, have ballot counters. Collect the ballots. Pick up timer's report. Judges' official ballot. Here it is. This is what your tally counter should pick up. Please tell your judges not to give the ranking. Some judges do give the top part also. They fold it in a small fold and they give it. Tear it and give it. All the judges have to do is first place Beena, second place Sanjukta, third place Ajay. I'm first. So that is what one judge has said. The other judge may say Sanjukta first, Ajay second, Beena third, the fourth judge and the fifth judge. Collect all this. And the signature and the name has already been ensured that you have made them do it, okay, when you are briefing. Now, when you go into the room, when you retire with your tally counters in the room, check each ballot for the judge's signature. You have check that the contestants' names are listed correctly. You have already given the list to the judges in the briefing. Suppose Beena is written as B-I-N-A. That is not correct. Sanjukta is written as Sanyukta. Instead of J, someone puts a Y. That is not correct. The names have to be listed correctly. 3 places have 3 names. Not Beena, Sanjukta, okay? Otherwise, Beena stood first also, Beena stood second. I can't find anyone who can stand third, but second, but Sanjukta, no, that is not. So if all this is there in your ballot, discard. Now, you as tally counters, you have collected the ballots. Put the ballots in order by judge's name as listed on the tally sheet. Okay, A, B, C, D, E is the judge's name. So A's tally on top, B second, C third, D fourth, E fifth. Now, ballot counter reads the ballots while the second ballot counter records the points. Judge's name, first place, contestant's name, 3 points. Second place, contestant name, 2 points. Third place, 1 point. Repeat for each judge. Once completed, the third ballot counter, if there is a third, otherwise the first one comes back and verifies. So basically the tally counters have to verify that they've written it correctly. The first one, second one verifies. Totals, the first one verifies again. The chief judge does not involve himself in this yet. Okay. Then he comes in and he shows the ballot counter, the timer sheet. And unfortunately, Beena has shot over 5 to 7 minutes. She has done 7 minutes and 50 seconds. Oh dear me. So she's out, she's disqualified because of overtime. Her name is already entered in the ballot sheet. All they have to do is draw a line across Beena's name right through. She is not qualified to be counted in this ballot. Okay. And verify if there are any disqualifications. due to time. If there is a disqualification, see, if there is a disqualification, as I told you, you have to strike right through. Now, this is the tally counter sheet. Okay, name of the judges: Superman, Iron Man, Wonder Woman, Batman, Hulk. These are the 5 judges. And the contestants are alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon. Okay. Now, Superman has given 3, 2, 1. Iron Man has given. That means Superman thinks alpha is first, beta is second, gamma is third. Iron Man thinks beta is first, and so on and so forth. That's how you write the points. Now, when you total, you find both alpha and beta have got 10 each. Now, what will you do? How will you decide? Okay. So, as I said, the chief judge has tucked away the tiebreaker's ballot counter into his inner pocket, or maybe the woman has put it in her purse. So, pull out that. Okay. Okay. This I came in the middle. Disqualification, as I said. Draw a line, the contestants column on the right, time DQ on top of the column. On the top of the announcement of winners form, there was 1 or more disqualifications due to time. No name of the contestant has been given, and record that disqualification in the judges, on the judges report. Check for ties and resolve them. Okay, so I'll come to the tiebreaker judges ballot little later. Remember that there was a tie. There was a tie. At the bottom of now this is about the tie-breaking judge, I think. No, this is still on the ballot counter. At the bottom of each contestant's column, indicate their places: first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. However many contestants are there, that many places are there. Now, suppose 2 people get 0. No one is marked only. No one gets any marks. Okay, 2 people get 0. Then how will you write third, fourth, fifth, sixth? How will you indicate whether the 0, say Sanjukta and I both have got a 0, whether Sanjukta is 4th and I am 5th, or I am 5th, I am 4th and Sanjukta is 5th. Again, refer to the tie-breaking judge's ballot. If tiebreaker has put Sanjukta before me, then Sanjukta gets the earlier rank and I get the next rank. Even a 0 has to be written out in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4. As many contestants there are, those many numbers have to be given to them. Okay. Notification of winners form. Fill out all contestants that have not disqualified. Name only. Have the other ballot counter verify that it is filled out correctly. Announcement of fillers form. Fill out first, second, and third. But it is in reverse order. Please remember, because this winner's form has to be given to the contest chair. And typically, 1 or 2 times it has happened that third, second, and first, the contest chair is so excited, the results are out. The third person is placed first. Oh, and the winner is so and so. Oh my God! Then who stands up immediately? Tell me. The chief judge, the ballot counter, and the timer, because all of them know who has stood first, second, and third. They say, "Hey, hello, excuse me, Beena is not the winner. Beena is number 3. Sanjukta is the winner. Oh, I read it wrong. Okay. Third place first, Beena. Second place, Ajay. First place, Sanjukta. And the winner is Sanjukta. Okay. So while the results are being announced, if the contestant makes a mistake, only 3 people are qualified to stand up and say, hello, excuse me, you are reading the results wrong. The chief judge, the ballot counter, and the time. Okay. So all that is done. Now, result form, here it is. Third place, second place, and first place. That is how. And you have to review the timer sheet, etc. Time disqualification, yes, no. Okay, all this has to be checked both by you and by the 2 ballot counters, or 3. And then handed over to the contest chair. Okay, all that is done. Stop them if they are being read incorrectly. Make sure the Toastmaster follows the script in the announcement of winners form. Now, after the thing is over, put all the items back into the binder, ballots, including tiebreaker, contest agenda with all changes marked, notification of winners, contest profile sheets, eligibility and original forms, originality, chief judge's report, judges eligibility, timer sheet, tally sheet, all extra forms not used. That goes back with you. Okay. And once the contest results are declared, destroy the ballots that the judges have given to the tally counters to be tallied, destroy them. And also, Arvind used to tell us, forget this contest ever existed, forget the marks, forget who you gave what first to, it's all recorded, all handed over, all declared, so that when you come out, someone is bound to ask you, Harry, you are the chief judge, tell who stood first. I won't tell anyone. Sorry, it's all gone out of my brain. I've just completely forgotten who stood first. I cannot. Similarly, the ballot counter in the briefing has to be told very strictly, and it's a crime if he declares to the people outside who are waiting, this one stood first, but don't tell anyone. The ballot counters should not tell. That is why, as far as possible, take a seasoned Toastmaster as a ballot counter. I remember Prasad, Arvind used to say, don't take new joinees. They get so excited, they don't know the process. They may have not taken the training. Take seasoned ballot counters or seasoned Toastmasters who have done some part of the contest or the other. So they've gone through the briefing. Now, protests. We are coming to the protests. What is the time? 11:38. Only a contestant or voting judge may lodge a protest. Protest must be filed with chief judge or contest chair. Chief judge must receive all protests prior to announcement of winners. Once winners are announced, the results are final. It can be based on originality, eligibility, and referencing. This is one more addition now, referencing. Referencing is referring to the previous contestant's speech by name or content of the speech in the same contest. Originality, eligibility, referencing. Now, when the judge comes, who is protesting, you finish your ballot counting process, then the judge who's protesting should have followed you out of the contest room, and at this point you have discussed his or her concerns, and yet she wants to proceed with the protest. Okay, first have a small talk with the judge and say, are you sure? Are you perfectly sure 100%? Do you have proof of protest? That is also should be asked. Yes, here's a YouTube which says which says the same thing as the humorous speaker said, and it is more than 25% of his speech. So this is my proof of contest. Okay. Now the ballot counters are asked to step aside. Chief judge reads originality rule from the international rule book. Then he discusses the protest with the person. Then the chief judge will give an opinion. The current ranking of the contest will not be considered. The judges take a secret vote. So the first vote is taken when the chief judge, the first vote is taken when all the judges are in. The judges discuss the protest and then they take a vote to find out if the protest stands. If over half of them say, there are 5 judges. If 3 say, yes, the protest stands, then call the contestant, the said contestant into the room and ask him questions. This is what a protest is come in your speech, so and so, please justify or defend your position. Okay, contestant responds to the judge's questions. And the chief judge every time sees that the process is positive. No blame game here. Yeah, you're stupid. You can't have your own original, or one judge might say, last time we kiya tha. Don't do all that. Avoid all this mudslinging. Just stay positive. Then the contestant leaves the room. The judges now have the contestant's defense to look at. The proof is there and the judges protest. So they take a secret vote. Again, majority determines if the protest stands. Then the judges return to the contest room, ask the contest judge, then you ask the contest chair to join you in the ballot counting room, inform them of the judge's decision either way. Yes, there was a protest, but it has been cleared and they have voted that he is good to go. Or yes, there was a protest and he is disqualified. And then the contest chair will inform the contestant, and then the contest chair will make the announcement. This procedure has to be followed. Nothing happens, nothing can happen after the announcement of winners is done. Contestant, if he protests, again the same process, call him into the room, discuss. If he still wants to lodge a protest, then the contestant goes away, judges come, judges discuss, and voting takes place. Okay, now, if a primary contestant arrives after briefing, but before the person conducting the contest is introduced. Okay, I'm a contestant, I'm late for the briefing, and Sanjukta is the contest chair, and the SAA introduces the contest chair. And now we have, but before that only, I come running. Excuse me, sorry, my train was late, or I got caught in the traffic. I want to take part. I'm sorry. Then the chief judge checks that all the paperwork is in good order and everything is filled, all the forms are filled, and the contestant waives the opportunity for briefing and reports to the contestant, I've come, my paperwork is in good order, and I waive the opportunity for briefing. Then the contest chair will allow and then say proceed, and then the contest chair is introduced. So if a contestant is late, these are the 3 conditions he or she has to fulfill before he takes part in the contest. These are the notification of contest winners, etc. All that is in the kit, but I just put it here in case. Now here is, again, I put the form here, and now I've put the tiebreaker judge. Now tiebreaker judge has given beta the first place. So if you go back, beta, although beta and alpha have got 10 points each, beta gets first place, alpha gets second. And third goes to gamma, delta gets fourth, and fifth goes to epsilon. Okay, that's the tie-breaking judge, breaks the tie. And tie-breaking judge writes all the answers, all the names of the contestants, ranks them. If there are 10, he writes all 10. And tie-breaking judge's form, ballot form is different from the evaluation, other voting judges, because they have 10 points. Those have 10 names, those have only 3. Here, there are many resources available. I wrote to TI asking them about this and that, and they sent me one whole list of resources available where you have speech contest rule book online. So the best thing for you to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to go to the rule book. Treat it like your Bible. Go to the website, our website, TI, and go to the resources. Speech contest is written in bold on top. Go there, go to the resources, open each one and look at that. Do a trial run at home. How will you brief the tally counters? Okay, this. Tally counters could be new. They have no clue. You have to know everything. So you do that. Thank you. Any questions? We are at 11:45. I'm glad I ran through my this thing. Now I will stop sharing, and we've got about 10 minutes to ask questions. Okay, before, yes, Ajit, opulent.
Yes, good morning, Beena ma'am. Thank you for that session. So I have a question related to the protests. In last segment of the Toastmasters year, they had introduced a new rule for the protest. The contest chair has to announce after the last speaker has finished speaking that the contest is adjourned. And after that, no protests were allowed. And the previous rule said until the winners are announced, you can protest. So is the rule still valid? And the contest chair, before the chief judge leaves the room, she announces that the contest is adjourned, and that is the end of the protest time.
No, in the rule book it says that no protests will be allowed after the winners are declared.
No, that is I agree on that. But you said that before the winners are announced, anybody can protest.
Yeah.
But the last year rule book says that after the contest is adjourned, before the chief judge leaves the room, you cannot protest.
How can the contest be adjourned before the chief judge leaves the room? The chief judge has left the room to tally the marks, right, with the ballot counter.
Okay.
Beena, maybe to clarify here,
Yes.
and I'll just put in, I'm aware about the thought process that was followed last year.
Okay.
Because we had typically the results being announced at the end of two contests together. That is the reason why this was brought into our district, to indicate that once a particular contest is over, then that specific contest is adjourned and any protest has to be lodged in before that, so that you cannot keep lodging in the protest till evening, right? And you can clarify that from the earlier district leadership team, but to the best of my knowledge, this was like Ajit rightly mentioned, this was a rule that was put out, that a contest has to be formally adjourned, and once it is adjourned, then you cannot put a protest.
So when is the contest adjourned? After the chief judge comes back with the results, no? And hands them to the contest chair.
That's right.
And
so
after the contest chair receives the results, she may or may not announce them, because there are two events and they decide that all the results will be announced
together.
At the end.
That's right. That's right. So after the chief judge comes back to the room and everything, and then the contest has to be adjourned. Before the contest is adjourned, then a protest can be filed.
Oh, okay. Ajit, then let the chief judge come back to the room and hand over the results, and then let the contest chair say all results will be declared at the end of the event, at the end of the day, because there are one more event to go. So now I declare humorous contest adjourned. Before she says that word, probably before she says the word adjourned, there is a scope for protest, but not after that. Is that okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Yatin.
Sorry, Beena ma'am, I was just trying to unmute myself. Beena ma'am, just one quick question with regards to the tiebreaker judge. What if the tiebreaker judge is unable to break the tie? In that event, what do you do?
There is no, he has to be, when briefing goes, when the chief judge briefs the tiebreaker judge, he has to tell the tiebreaker, listen, there are 7 contestants and there are 10 numbers there in your ballot form. You have to rank the 7 contestants 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll give you one tight slap if you give a tie. Say that.
Fair enough.
No, you can't.
Thank you.
No judge, voting judge or tiebreaker judge is allowed to say both are winners. No.
No, got it. Makes sense. Okay, got it. So if there is a tie between three contestants, right? And there are 10 participants or 10 contestants. So then do they rank only those 3 people, like 1, 2, 3, to break the tie, or do we give them basically the top 5 people?
See, the first person, let's say, is Ajit, first rank, without any doubt. He stood first. Now, Yatin, Heshma, and Joylan have got 10 marks. Okay, as I showed. Now I go to the tiebreaker judges. Heshma is smiling. Tiebreaker judges form, and I see, oh, tiebreaker has given Joylan above Yatin, so Joylan stands second, and Heshma is below Yatin, so Joylan, Yatin, and then Heshma. That is how I will write in the ballot count tally sheet.
Got it. Got it. Thank you, ma'am.
So that's why choose a tiebreaker also wisely. Don't choose a latent lazy chap. Choose someone who is
got a little bit of understanding, thought process and understanding of the process.
Yeah. Yes, Joylan.
Better they break their own ties, basically.
Thank you so much, Beena. My question.
Yes, Joylan.
Yes, sorry. My question is very simple, rather. At the end of the contest, if there's a disqualification on basis of time, we do announce that there is one disqualification on the basis of time. Do we need to do that same thing on the basis of originality in case of a protest? We need to announce that there is one disqualification on the basis of originality or something like that. How do you announce that? Because a disqualification, it will be a disqualification, and the contest chair needs to announce it. So on what is the announcement that they would be making? Because I had this tough time last year, and I just announced it as there is one disqualification, and then there were hundreds of questions asking why the disqualification was.
Oh.
So we as the team need to also discuss this scenario and see how we are going to announce. So check with Toastmasters how we are going to do it.
Yeah, I'll check with them. But on the declaration form, only were there any disqualification due to time? Yes, no. There is no question asked on that form due to originality. There was no question
Exactly.
asked. Correct? Yes. So in the declaration form, you do not declare that he's.
No.
Tell the contest chair that, out of those 7 contestants, one of them has been, after the voting and double voting, etc., one has been declared ineligible on basis of originality. Now, what to do with that information? I don't know. Has anyone any answer? We will, of course, tell the...
I'll just park the question here, Joel, and just give the question in the chat, and we should ask TI to give us the clarity on this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, to the best of my knowledge, you do not announce on what basis was the disqualification done. Only on the basis of time disqualification that is shared. Any other disqualification you don't need to announce out.
I second Ajay, sir.
I agree, Ajay. That is what my understanding was, but I was not sure what the TI says. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Heshma.
Yeah, hi, ma'am. Good morning. Ma'am, actually, there are certain times when we are the chief judge, like there are certain protests which come up, right? So there are some times where, where we might not know that knowledge, and suddenly the voting judge raises this protest or something like that. So then how do we be well versed with that knowledge? Like if we are unaware of certain things that this data has been taken from elsewhere.
This is your Bible. Okay, read it back and forth. Then the PPT will be shared, read that. And even all that, then our good friend Usha ma'am is there. She's the district chief judge. Ring her up.
Okay.
Beena, I'd like to answer Heshma's question. Heshma,
okay.
Yes,
first of all, whenever there is a protest by any other, that protest can be done only by contestants and judges, voting judges.
Yeah, but she said judge.
But when a judge is protesting, he or she should come with proof of evidence.
Correct.
That I'm protesting on these bases.
Right.
So if you see that, and then you need to compare it with the speech that was just delivered. And then you'll know.
Okay.
No, I know, but there are occasions when you are thrown and the contest has to be carried on and you don't know what to do. I got a call once or twice from someone. So call up Usha. Usha is always available.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Anna Fonte, Toastmasters.
Yeah, Colin here. Okay.
Colin, sorry.
My question is, what is the referencing still referred to for name also? Because I thought you mentioned that name of the person I thought was not considered for referencing, except for the content. I thought you mentioned name also. I just wanted to clarify.
Yes, name and content. Beena just said that this thing. Then you have an advantage over others. Okay, I just checked.
Before, I think there was some clarification on that. So one of the district meetings, it was announced that there is no this on the name. It is only content. So if you can clarify on that further, it would be good. Even later, no problem.
Okay, anyone has any answers on no name but only content? No, I'll clarify.
If I understand well, my friend means that you are mentioning some quotation and you don't remember whose quotation it is and you don't remember the name. Is it like that? Or you are mentioning about somebody's content who has already given a speech before you and you should not mention that thing in that?
Okay.
So
1 minute.
one-
1 minute. Protests are limited to eligibility, originality, and reference to another contestant's speech and must only be lodged by voting judges. So, no name. Sorry, please cancel
No,
that.
name is not included.
Name
Yes.
is not.
Okay.
No name.
May I add just one clarity there? Why there was always a confusion? Because in the rule book, there are two parts. One is for the protest and one is referencing. So there is one point where it says avoid referencing the name and the content of the speech. But under protest, it's only talk about the content part of it. Okay.
Okay. So just find that page for that name and this thing, Seema, if you can. I mean, whoever can. Okay. Santosh Kamoli.
Yeah, hi, good morning, Beena ma'am. My two simple questions. One, see, I have played CJ and VJ since last 3 terms. So this term, it would be online, offline?
Question to PQD.
we will answer that question now. I will answer it that we have agreed in our district leadership that our contest mode for the area and the division level would be online, and for district it would be hybrid.
And club?
Club?
Club depends on the club. We have no mandate on that, and that is a club's discretion how they want to do it.
Okay.
Aruna.
All right. And the second one is, will this contest be for humorous and evaluation or ISC and table topic?
Evaluation and humorous.
Okay.
Come again. What was the question, please?
This contest will be of what? Humorous contest and evaluation or ICSC and table topic?
I didn't get your answer still. What
No, Sanjukta, I have answered his question. It's humorous and evaluation.
Perfect. Thank you.
No. So we'll have, so about the number of contests, is this the question about that?
Not the number, the contest. What is this contest? Humorous contest or it is evaluation both?
The
right answer in the first cycle will have humorous and evaluation. Yes. In the next cycle, we'll be having table topics and international speech. That's the right answer.
The chief judges and the voting judges are required in all contests. This training is valid for all contests. Okay. However, we are giving more significance to the first cycle of contests, which is evaluation and humorous.
Got it.
Okay.
I would also like to share another important information about the contests. So first one was the mode of contest. The second one is it has also been agreed and mandated to this year for the district that from the club to the area, each club can send 2 winners. From the area to the division, each area can send 2 winners. From the division to the district, it would be single winners. This information about the contests would also be shared officially from the district administration office soon. Over to the questions.
Aruna.
Thank you.
Good morning, distinguished Toastmaster Beena. Well, I have a question about the timer. I just wanted to know, like in the last contest, during the international and the table topics contest, timer was a part of the contest chair's team, and the chief judges team was the voting judges and the tally counter. So during the training, you mentioned the chief judges team would be the voting judges, the timer, and the tally counter. So would you be able to give me a little clarity on that?
Yeah, the chief judge, see the contest chair, I said, appoints the timers, but the briefing is done by chief judge. Chief judge briefs tally counter, timer, because he collects the sheet from the timer. So he has to give the sheet to the timer. He's under him. So that, and also let me add that this time very clearly they have indicated that 5 to 7 minutes. After 7 minutes, 30 seconds grace period. Okay. Now the timer is looking at 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Then 7 minutes are over and is looking at 30 seconds. So 20 seconds are over, 29, 30, and then the speaker stops. Is he qualified by time or disqualified? So the answer is that he is qualified because he's completed 7 minutes, 30 seconds exactly. If he does 7 minutes, 31 seconds, he's disqualified. But if he does 7 minutes, 30 seconds and 25 milliseconds, that is no disqualification because no one counts the milliseconds. From 30 seconds, the minute he extends and goes to 31 and he stops, 31 is disqualified. But he stops at 30, then he's not disqualified. 7.5 minutes is 7.5 minutes. So please remember the milliseconds are not counted.
Distinguished Toastmaster Beena, you have an amber.
Okay.
Timing, so we could go with 2 questions. I see Prateek has asked a question in his chat as well as he's raised his hand. Prateek, please ask your question.
Yes, good morning, DTM Beena. So my question is regarding the recording because I have faced this in past. People generally ask whether should we record or should we not record the contest. So what are the guidelines on that?
In the rule book, there is no guidelines. In the rule book, flash photography is not allowed. They're still on the physical mode and photography is not allowed. Although they don't say that videography is not allowed. They don't say that clearly. So only flash photography is not allowed in terms of disturbing the contestant.
Yeah,
But,
so that's why I need this clarity basically
so
because then few
the
contests
district decides. I don't know. There is no rule in the rule book. I'm on the rule book side. What does the district say? Should it be recorded or no?
If the contestants are not having any objection, then you can record it. This is what plain understanding is.
One thought about the recording where you have to be careful. You may record, however, you are not allowed to share your speeches in any social media, specifically for the ISC, because then you'll be, that's not allowed. So do not share in any social media. You can record it for your purpose. That's one guideline that we have been following. Again, I'll request experienced Toastmasters to also add some thought here.
That is correct. I think contestants' consent is important. That is point 1. Second, sharing with in general public is not allowed unless it is requested by the contestant. You record, you share the speeches with the respective contestant, and you record it for official purpose. There is no other medium to be published, because the reason is, if you record at the club level, the person wins and goes to the next level. We think, oh, only the winner's speech should not be declared. But what if winner is not available for the area contest? The second person in line will go to the area level, or third now, because we have 2 contestants. In that case, their speech is already public. It's already heard. So that impact loses at the area or division and further levels. So it's advised not to make it public after the recording is done. So recording can be done, but how to share, there are some guidelines to think about. Again, at the club level, it is club's discretion. Area, division, and district will decide and take care of the recording and sharing of the same. Thank you.
Okay, Jay has a question and
yes. Okay. So actually there are clubs like in Goa, Kolhapur, Nasik, Aurangabad. They are not having the liberty to get all these voting judges and chief judges from near about clubs, because the nearest club is also 100 kilometers away. So in that case, how they could conduct the contest and how they have to nominate anyone from their own club?
I will take that answer.
Yes.
I'll take that answer. It is supposed to, then my idea or guideline would be to go for either inviting judges. If they want to have it totally hybrid, they can have judges online. And if they want to have online, anyways, they can have judges also. So since the mode agreed is hybrid or online, or if you want to have physical for the club, if that's the case, then you have to invite. But however, there are these 2 options also where you can get your judges soon enough.
Yeah, but the question is, the contest will happen at club level and they are not having the liberty to call the people from 100 to 100 kilometers away. Then what they have to do in this case?
Club level, you have to choose judges from your club only, paid member of a club in good standing. Don't be very ambitious and choose outside club members, because at club level, You have paid your money. Here's the evaluation form. Sit and judge and train them. Of course, they've attended the training now. Most of the club level members. Make them only at club level. You have to make your club members the judges.
Okay. So club member can also be the judges.
Can also, no, should also, because at club level, that is the condition. At club level, a judge should be a paid member of a club in good standing. That is all a club requires at club level. Don't try and be ambitious and get from that club, this club, no need. At club level, choose your own members. That way more people get a chance for leadership, for discerning the quality of a good speech, etc. Choose your own club members. That's encouraged.
So there was a question asked by Abdul, and just give me a second. The question is about the eligibility. And yes, does level 2 need to be completed to be eligible for the humorous speech contest and evaluation contest, or only the member needs to be in good standing?
No, not for humorous and evaluation. You don't need level 2. You just need to be a good paid member of a club in good standing. It's for IST.
Also, I think, Beena ma'am, we need to add that if it's a chartered club, all charter members can take part in IST, irrespective of their level.
Yeah, that is in the ISC. When we do a little bit of ISC training, we will do that. But if it's a charter club, within the year, it should have been chartered before the area contest.
I am sorry, but I think we have to take the questions offline now, because it's time for a short break. And before that, I would like to thank distinguished Toastmaster Beena for actually having an interactive session and also an enlightening session, and also all the contests, all the attendees and the experienced participants who have helped gather this knowledge in a centralized place now so that it would be available. Some of us were unable to be at the training continuously or may have missed this part of the training. Not to worry, the recording is on, and this recording would be then archived in our district website. We just need some time to that, along with the questions asked. Any questions that you still have, do keep on sharing it on the chat, which I will be recording or my team would be recording, and we would get back to you with the answers either in the FAQ section of the district website, or we can even come back to you during the later part of the session. With that, I would like all of us to go for a 5-minute break, and we would reconvene for the next half of this important training session. It is right now 12:08. I would request everybody to be back here at 12:13. And those who don't need a break, we are on for.
So who's asking? Shravan Kumar.
I'm Shravan, yeah. I'm Shravan from TCS Maitri Toastmasters Club. My question is, ma'am, is there any particular qualification or eligibility for the voters? Because most of the cases, what I have observed is voters may not have a familiarity with the rule book. Most of the cases, guests or any other people, but they will take a decision based on the way the communication was done. But when we compare it with the rule book, they are disqualified. So for example, when a person is evaluating a speaker, evaluator, he will, in rule book says there is a difference between praising and evaluation. Clearly defined what is evaluation, what is praising. But most of the cases, people vote for an evaluator who praise the speaker.
You're talking about club level voting. If we are talking about training of judges and chief judges, that's a whole different ball game. So club level voting, no, is very subjective. I agree. Club level voting is very subjective. You might vote for someone because you like his face or he's dressed well. That doesn't matter. I mean, this question is out of place in this forum. Shravan, please connect with me offline and I will tell you what more details about club level voting. Evaluate.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes, Deeksha.
Yeah, hi Beena ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Question is, you've just mentioned that there would be 2 winners who would be sent for HSC and speech evaluation contest from every club at the area level. That is what you mentioned. So is it same for the division level as well?
No, Sanjukta just said 1 minute. She's just given. From club to area, 2 people will be sent. From area to division, 2 people will be sent. But from division to district, only 1 person will be sent. Is that right, Sanjukta? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I got that.
Okay.
Another question is, you've mentioned that voting judges can be from the same club itself.
At the club level.
At the club level. And so what if there would be a concern raised by any of the members saying, or probably would there be a concern by the voting judge himself or herself, that wouldn't that be partiality for the people that would be knowing me? Or yes, I know that it would be anonymous and it would not be known to the one, but then the chief judge can be the one who can decide on it, is it?
See, if you're ambitious enough, you have enough of a reach, you can get 5 voting judges from 5 different clubs. You're more than welcome to do it. Some of us are strapped for that, for availability. That is why TI has said at club level, you can choose any one club member who has paid his fees, whose club is in good standing. Then it can be your own club. It can be others' club. If you want variety, you're welcome. If you have no choice, please choose 5 members from your own club and conduct that blessed contest and go ahead with it. Do not get strapped because, oh my God, how will I choose members from my own club? What will they say? Who is they? Tell them to keep their mouth shut. As voting judge, as chief judge, you have chosen good people according to the rule book. Paid members of a club in good standing. You are allowed at club level. At area and division, it's a higher level, so that you have to be careful. Then follow the rules. Don't go with what will they say. They will not say. People will talk anyway. So just say, tell them, show them this. This is my rule book. I'm following.
Thank you.
That depends on the decision, right, of a chief judge, or based on the network reach of a chief judge, right?
Correct. Correct.
Hey, Diksha, and thank you for that question. However, it is already 12:13. I would like to reconvene and thank you once again, our district training chair and trainer for the chief judges section, distinguished Toastmaster Beena.
Thank you.
This enlightening session. I would now like to call all of you back. Would love to see your faces after you have had that refresher of 5 minutes. And some of you I have seen I still couldn't see your faces. Would be good to see you all. And can somebody please spotlight distinguished Toastmaster Usha, who is also our district chief judge for this year. There is distinguished Toastmaster Usha. Yes. Right. I would like to hand it over for this next session about more detailing about voting judges and the fun that they have. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Usha.
Thank you, Program Quality Director, DTM Sanjukta, all the district officers, and my fellow Toastmasters. I think Beena has done most of my job. She has slapped people, she has thrown people out, and she has brought in so many characters into her training program that I think to fill in her shoes is going to be a little difficult for me. But I think whatever as a Toastmaster who has been with this program, for over 19 years has seen and shared. I would like to share all that information with all of you. And here's my take on who a voting judge should be. Like we've had Beena already speaking about it. Yes, Beena.
Usha ma'am, just would you like to put it on slideshow? Then we can
I
see
will.
it in a
I will.
better way. Yes. So it's that, yes. Thank you.
Good enough? Can you all see it?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Is it seen properly now, Sanjukta?
I think we can continue. It's still not on the slideshow mode, but if everybody is able to see, we are
Put
fine.
it on that goblet, yeah, that goblet.
I've done it in the goblet.
I think first you need to stop slide showing and then put it in the presenting mode, and then you can again share.
And just a thought, since we have had started a little late today's session, we waited for all of us to join in. So this session would be extended by 15-20 minutes post the 1 o'clock timeline that we had given in the invite. Hope that is fine. Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Mayank, for acknowledging it.
Can you see it now?
It's still in the same format.
I think we will continue, Usha ma'am, because I think we are able to see the slides, right?
Can everybody see it?
Yes, yes, we are able to see you also.
All right.
Yeah, they're able to see it. Don't worry. Don't worry, Usha. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. All
Can you
right.
make it-
Now,
Can you make it full screen? You have to just click full screen at the bottom.
No, let it be. Let it be. That's what she's having trouble with. Usha ma'am, please carry on. Thank
I
you.
would request us to not please speak and only raise your hands first. But yes, distinguished Toastmaster Usha, please go ahead.
thank you. Thank you so much. Well, Beena just shared about chief judges. She's already appointed her chief judges. Now, all these chief judges are looking out for voting judges, which is a very, very rare thing to get now. But thanks to this training, I'm sure chief judges will not have any issues getting voting judges. Now, what is the eligibility that a voting judge should have? First, at club level. At the club level, a voting judge should be a member in good standing of a club in good standing. At the area, division, and district level, the member or the voting judge should be a paid member for at least 6 months, should have completed at least 2 levels of any pathway or 6 projects from the competent communication manual from the traditional program. Last but not the least, the judge should be physically present at the contest for which he or she is serving. Whether it's hybrid, whether it's online or offline, the judge needs to be present there. Like Beena said, no sending WhatsApp random messages, because we all get such messages. Some Toastmasters send WhatsApp messages. Are you free on so and so day? There is a contest coming up. So these are very random messages unless the person sends you a formal WhatsApp message invite or And then after that, follow it with an email saying that as the chief judge for so-and-so club contest, I would like to request you if you could serve or support me as a voting judge at this contest. So unless you get something like a formal message, please do not respond to any casual messages. That's my first request to all Toastmasters. We all do this. We get messages, we block the dates, and then they forget us at some time. Then, once you're done with the chief judge's formal invitation, you have accepted it. Now you've accepted the offer and said, yes, I will be there. You can count on me. What happens? Again, Beena's Bible, the speech contest rule book, which is the only reference book for all contests in the Toastmasters International program. Any rule or any question that you may have will be there and will be answered in that speech contest rule book. If it is not there, it's not there. So there are links here which will be shared with all of you for the speech contest rule book, and every one of us need to keep going through this more so before the contest. I'm also sharing the links for the international speech contest and table topic speech contest, which will be held in the latter part of the year. But as of now, we will be focusing on the humorous speech contest and evaluation speech contest. When you are a judge, you've already been nominated, the chief judge has accepted your credentials and all the details, your club name, your club, your membership ID and everything we give. We only don't give our Aadhaar card number. That's the only thing we don't give the chief judge. But otherwise, everything is given to them. So what do you do when you're a judge? Like the Toastmaster just asked, is it the same as evaluating? Then how can you be a good judge? And last but not the least, what is it, that one thing that gets in the way of judging? Now let's take one by one. When you are a judge, the first thing or the last thing is you need to pick a winner. Why do you need to pick a winner? Because you're a judge. You have to pick a winner. Do not evaluate. No, we're not looking for evaluations. It's a contest. It's not a speech evaluation. So do not appraise the speech. Do not measure presentation against the purpose of the speech.
Sorry to interrupt, Usha ma'am, but we are unable to see your slides change. So we are still at when you are the judge.
Yeah.
We are still seeing slide number 5.
Are you seeing this now?
I think Distinguished Toastmaster Mayank has a hack for this.
Okay. Usha ma'am, you may want to click on this animations, which is on your screen, home, insert, design, transition, animations, slideshow. Next to animation, there is something called a slideshow.
Yes.
And you may want to put from beginning or from current slide that you are having on your screen.
Is this okay now?
Yes. So this is what you're addressing, right?
This is what I'm talking about. I'll
Okay.
just move to one more slide and then you can tell me.
Yeah, ma'am, you may now do it. Yeah, you may now do it from current slide and it will take you to a full screen slideshow.
Okay, is it seen now?
Yes, we can see your slide. If you may want to, make it full screen. If you see the option of full screen.
I think she has not shared the entire screen.
So
yeah, share your screen.
Not visible.
Share the screen. Yeah.
Is this visible now?
Yes, yes. We can see do not evaluate.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm on that slide only. Correct.
Okay.
So this is for all the voting judges. You are not evaluators at a club meeting. You are at a contest. So what should you be focusing on? So do not appraise the speech. Do not measure Presentation against purpose. Why is this speech being delivered? Presentation is for the objectives of a speech at a club meeting. And then do not offer improvement advice. You can't, because the voting sheet does not allow you to do that. So let's not go into offering advice. Now let's see, we are all supposed to be very good judges. Why? Because good judges are fair. Fair, not in color. We are just, we set aside race, caste, religion, gender, and profession. We don't allow anything of that kind or any disapproval of speech topics to affect our decision. We are there to judge. We listen to a speech. We have certain criteria to be followed, and we judge that speech on that day, how it was delivered. We are supposed to be impartial. We cannot be partial towards the female gender or the men. You can't do that. You just have to decide on how good the speech was. When we say trustworthy, this is one of the qualities that good judges are supposed to be sharing. And that is because the audience, the chief judge, the contest officials, they all trust you with that one role, that you are going to be part of the team or the panel that picks up the best speaker on that day, the number one speaker of the day. And I think as a good judge, you must live up to the trust that has been bestowed upon you. The next quality that good judges should be having is knowledge. A Toastmaster just asked, I think Heshma asked, or some Diksha. She said that, what do we do? Sometimes we don't know. So that's the reason the contest rule book is there. The minute you take up the role of a voting judge at a club or area or division, go through the contest rule book, the rules that are required as a judge by you at any contest.
Hello,
Yes.
Distinguished Toastmaster Usha, we still cannot see your slides. So I would request you unshare your screen and then you share the whole screen.
Yes,
once.
yes. Yes, madam.
Take the option of sharing the whole screen.
Very good.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Yes.
Can you see it now?
Yes, yes.
I didn't do anything, Sanjukta. I just reshared it.
No one.
Yes, yes,
All
yes. It's
right.
working now.
Okay, thank you. All right, so judges are supposed to be knowledgeable. They should know what their role is beforehand itself. Please do not make any exceptions while judging. Whoever it is, the speaker may be a very good friend of yours, could be your mentor, but no, at that point of time, that person is a Toastmaster who is the contestant and you are a voting judge. Good judges are supposed to be good listeners. Many of us, even sitting here today, you're just listening to what is happening here, but on the other hand, there is a WhatsApp going on, messages going on. Please, when you are a voting judge at a contest, keep the phones aside, keep everything aside, focus on that speech because that speaker needs your attention. That speech needs your attention. And only then will you be able to mark the speech based on the criteria that is given to you. Last but not the least, the good judges are supposed to be very accurate. Accurate when I say you need not be very good in math. You need to be informed of whatever decisions. You need to be sure of the decisions that you're taking. You need to fill out the forms correctly, the judging sheet. You need to have signed your name at the bottom portion and write your name also. Because in spite of the fact that you've focused, you've been fair, impartial, trustworthy, knowledgeable, good listeners, but if you're not accurate, when you fill out the form, your vote is invalid. So please do not make your vote go in waste. The chief judge is not going to be calling you back and saying you did not sign your form, the bottom portion of that form. So please, as soon as you get a voting sheet, sign it and put your name also on that. That is what I call being an accurate judge. You're I don't know what's going wrong here, but something is wrong. I'm sorry, guys. We need to wait.
That's absolutely fine. While we are waiting, I would also like to inform all participants in the training that post the training, as per the mandate of the district, to be able to be a chief judge and a voting judge, there would be a quiz that would be shared. Request would be that you'll go through the contest rule book once and then attempt the quiz, after which you will receive your certifications to be eligible to be a chief judge or a voting judge for the contests from the level of area. Club, of course, we cannot mandate. It is a guideline that we have, good practice. However, from the area level, you need to have this certification completed.
All right. Now we just do a review. What have we talked about until now? What a judge must do, difference between judging and evaluating, the qualities that make you a good judge. Now, what are the barriers that come across, that every judge comes across when he or she is a voting judge? The first thing is speaker's position. Position in terms of the speaking order. We usually tend, as judges, in the beginning of the contest, we are very happy. Oh, the first contestant. We put all our attention, we give that speaker all the attention. And then comes the second, and the third, and the fourth, and then the final speaker. So by the time you know that you've come to the final speaker, all the other speeches have gone by and you have not focused there. So as a good judge, positions should not matter. Every single speaker should be given due importance and all your attention. So please do not give the first speaker or the last speaker undue advantage, even without his or her knowledge. You focused only on the first and the last speech, don't do that. The next one is champion for the underdog. What do you mean by this? Usually, we give some Toastmaster who has a handicap or who is a challenged Toastmaster. He or she may be very good, no doubt about it. But I think he or she should be treated in par with all the other contestants as a contestant. Let's not make him the champion because of the handicap that he or she has. Second, the halo effect. This I've heard all chief judges telling us when we are voting judges. Please do not allow the halo effect. What is the halo effect? We assume that someone is very good. You've seen this Toastmaster speaking at his club. You've heard his speeches, other speeches, and then you are a voting judge at a contest where he or she is speaking. And then you say, yeah, that day he spoke very well. So definitely today also he's going to be speaking. No. That day was another day. Today is a new day. So do not, even without listening to the speech or seeing that he achieves all the criteria that are set out, the requirements, do not assume that he or she will be a very good speaker on that day. That's the most important thing. The reverse halo effect. What is the reverse halo effect. Maybe there is some Toastmaster or a contestant whose language skills may not be up to the mark. And then you assume that language is not very good, so the speech is not good. No. Even with that language barrier, that Toastmaster manages to communicate or convey his or her emotions through that language, whatever he or she is speaking, but the audience has understood. People have understood. You seem to be also understanding what he or she is trying to tell you. So do not make it the reverse halo effect in terms of no, the level of English or the speaking skills are not very good in terms of the language. So no, the speech won't be good. Don't do that. Let's give him or her all our attention again. That's what I would like to say. The second time around. What is the second time around? You may have heard a speech earlier. Sometimes you have been judging contest club levels, area levels, division levels, or for the same division. You hear this speech over and over again. And then you say, no, I've already heard this speech. It's not very good, or it's very good, and then judge the speech. No, listen again, once again. The contestant, usually contestants, when they win at the club level and when they move to the area level, they change their speeches. They change a few, they edit their speeches. So it would be definitely interesting to know how they have edited it, how they have improvised on it. So do not take them for granted or just say that, yes, I've heard their speech last time. Next one, give someone else a chance. This is something which I have come across many times as a voting judge. Last year's winner, when he or she comes again this year, and then we say, oh no, why is he coming back again? He's already won it last time in the division level. So what? He or she wants to come back again with a bang because he may not have won it also. Or even if they've won, it is usually our natural inclination to avoid listening to those speeches again. You assume that he or she is very good, but sorry, no, could not be good this time. He may not be good this time. He may be very, very good this time. So let's treat everyone on par again. And then we have our next slide. What are the reasons for disqualification? Contestants may only be disqualified for eligibility, originality, timing, and referencing. I think Beena has already spoken about it, but I'd just like to go through it. Eligibility. If a member who has participated in a contest is not a member in good standing, or this should be known before the contestant comes onto the stage and takes part in the contest. Before that, all these have to be checked. But if he or she is found not to be eligible, they can be disqualified. Originality. What do we say about originality of the speech? Usually, a contestant is disqualified on the basis of the originality of the speech. It is said that, this is said in the Toastmasters rulebook, only 25% of your speech can consist of quoted material. 75% should be original. If you quote someone, please give that person due credit. If you borrowed some quote and you have to talk about it, then you need to give credit to that person. Now for timing, disqualifications on the grounds of timing. In the humorous speech contest, the timing is 5 minutes to 7 minutes. At 5, the green card will be displayed. At 6, the yellow, and at 7, the red. Now, a contestant will be disqualified if the speech is less than 4 minutes 30 seconds or for more than 7 minutes 30 seconds, more than. And timers, if any of you is taking the role of a timer, please do not consider fractions of a second. The milliseconds, please do not look at that. Same way, a contestant is not qualified until he or she speaks for 4 minutes 30 seconds, and not disqualified until they clock 7 minutes 31 seconds. If you clock 7 minutes 31 seconds, you're disqualified. That is what I have to share for humorous speech contest. For the evaluation speech contest, a contestant is disqualified if the speech is for less than 1 minute 30 seconds or more than 3 minutes 30 seconds. Timers again do not consider fractions of seconds. A contestant is not qualified until their speech time clocks 1 minute 30 seconds and is not disqualified until their speech time clocks 3 minutes 31 seconds. As voting judges, you do not have to worry about the timing factor. You just vote. You just judge the speech per se. The chief judge and the timing sheets will all take its own time. Okay, it will take its own, they will do their duties there. Now, referencing. Again, Colin had a question about referencing. You cannot refer to the content of somebody else's speech in the same contest that you are competing in. You can refer to some other speech which was held in some other contest, but not at that current contest that you are contesting in. That is the reference. That will be a ground definitely for disqualification and protest. So I've counted all these 4 things. Now protests again. Protests are limited again to all these things. They can be lodged only by voting judges and or other contestants. The chief judge, contest chair, voting judges and contestants must not consider protests from audience members. We have a lot of them, a lot of members writing WhatsApp messages to the chief judge. I think this was wrong. This cannot be. No, it doesn't matter to us. You're not a contestant, you're not a voting judge. They must the protest must be lodged prior to the announcement of the results. Again, what Ajit mentioned, that adjournment of the contest, when the chief judge walks into the room after tallying the results, and when the results are given to that time, that contest is adjourned. So it's very important that we know when we can protest and who should protest. Now we talk about the tie-breaking judge. Any of you would definitely be getting an opportunity to play the role of a tie-breaking judge. If a voting judge has to be very attentive and should be there to give the first 3 people, the winners, the tie-breaking judge's role is very, very, very difficult. Because first of all, the chief judge picks up a Toastmaster to act as a tie-breaking judge. His identity is secret and known only to the chief judge. The tie-breaking judge does not attend the judge's briefing. The tie-breaking judge's guide and ballot will be provided by the chief judge before the beginning of the contest and collected by the chief judge at the end of the contest. No one else will be taking, the tally counters will not know who the tie-breaking judge is. Now, this is the ballot for the tie-breaking judges. First of all, he or she has to sign at the bottom portion of this ballot, and also the name. And this is the most difficult part. Tie-breaking judges have to rank all the contestants in the way he has marked them. So that's when we have a tie as a chief judge. We pick up the tie-breaking judge's ballot and see where he or she has marked that particular contestant, where the tie has come through in our judging sheets or in the tally counting sheet. When the dust settles, only 3 words matter. 1, 2, 3. So voting judges time for all of you all to pick a winner. And now I'd like to go through this, the evaluation judges ballot sheet, judges guide and ballot, and what are the criteria that we have. So I'll be just going through the sheets, the criteria that you will be using to vote. And this is the humorous speech contest sheet. This is the judges' official ballot. You need to do only first, second, and third. Do not, like Beena said, do not give 2 names in the first place or 2 names in the third place. Your vote will be, your ballot will be invalid. So please let not your vote or ballot go waste. Now, for evaluation, the judging criteria, as we call it. The first thing is a judge, when you are judging an evaluation contest, you need to look into certain points or so that the criteria that you can mark if all these have come correct. First of all, is the evaluator. For example, now the test speaker has finished speaking and the evaluation contestants come one by one. And now here, how analytical is the evaluator, the contestant, evaluation contestant? How analytically has the contestant evaluated that speech? Was the focus there? Has the contestant really heard the speech well? How analytically he's going to be evaluating it? The recommendations. Sometimes you're very positive, and sometimes I've heard evaluation contestants saying, I couldn't find anything to tell you where you can improve. No, there is no perfect speech. There are speeches, like for example, there are 3 types of speeches. One, which you have written, the second, which you deliver, and the third, which you should have delivered. So recommendations are there for everyone. But how did the evaluation contestant do it? Was he positive? Was he specific in his recommendations? And were these recommendations helpful? That is very, very important. As a contestant, a speaker has to remember this. And as a judge, you need to make a note of all these. Look at the points. The first one is 40 points. Everything depends on that. The way that speech has been analytically evaluated. What was the technique that the evaluation contestant used? Was he very sympathetic towards that speaker or that speech? Was he very sensitive not to hurt the emotions or the speaker? Was he very motivational? You have 3 different angles to evaluate that speech. And now the judge has to see how the evaluation contestant did it. Last but not the least, the summation. Was he concise, encouraging? Did he sum up his evaluation properly? Did he encourage the speaker to come back again later on and not get demotivated? So this is what I feel should be in every voting judge's mind. Keep a tab on these 4 points, and I'm sure you'll be giving fantastic judging. You will judge very well. Judging a humorous contest. It's not easy to judge a humorous contest, especially an online contest. You don't know if the audience is smiling, laughing, whether they're sleeping, whether they're not interested, whether they're not even there. They're just on mute, audio, video, everything is mute. So it's very difficult for the speaker, first of all, the contestant, and next for the judges. So now we have 3 major points: the content of the speech, the delivery, and the language. So let's go now. I'll just content. We work on speech development. How do you work on speech development for a contest? Was the introduction, body, and conclusion clear? That's how you develop a speech. Start with an introduction, move to the body of the speech and the conclusion. How well was it structured? That's very important. And then we move on to organization. This all forms a part of speech development, which is for 15 points. Were the speaker's ideas clear, lucid? Did you understand? Did you visualize what he or she was trying to tell us? Were you able to get that connect? How was the flow of the speech? The transitions from one idea to another, were they smooth? Were they purposeful? Did the speaker convey the purpose of why he or she is delivering that speech? All these form a part of the speech development part of that speech. The next point is effectiveness, which has 10 points. Did the connect happen? Or did the audience react to the speech? Was it relevant? Whatever the content was supposed to have been said, was it relevant for the occasion here? Was the speaker very clear? Clarity in terms of making the audience understand what he or she was trying to tell. Now, I now move to speech value. Speech value is for 15 points. Was there a message at the end of the speech? And was it a clear message? Was there logic in the way the speakers communicated to the audience? How much was it original? Especially in humorous speech contests, earlier we used to have a lot of one-liners, YouTube jokes. Thank God we don't have that a lot nowadays. People are moving towards original speeches, personal speeches. And how much did it contribute? Did that speech contribute to the audience's knowledge? Would they want to listen to this speech again? Or were they impressed with the way you wove your ideas in that speech? And did it help them to grow intellectually or improve their knowledge of how humor can be delivered? That is the speech value. Last but not the least, in the judging criteria is the audience response, which is not very well known now in the online format. That is, audience response takes 15 points. Were the audience attentive? We don't know. Did they laugh? Sometimes the contest chair says that you can put up emoticons, emojis, laughing emojis, but it distracts the speaker. Were the audience interested in listening to your speech? Did you manage to hold on to the interest of the audience? Did the audience receive your speech well? Did they clap for you? Did they applaud for you? Did they have a smile on their face when they were listening to your speech? This goes for content of the speech. Judging criteria for delivery. The first one is physical. Was the person well attired, dressed for the occasion, dressed to deliver a speech? Let's not focus too much on that, but the second one is voice. How are the expressions? Was there voice modulation? Did the speaker have a pleasing voice? Was the speaker just shouting? Or was he able to express his emotions which was required for that speech, which is very, very important. The next is the tempo. Was the tempo varied during the different parts of the speech, portions of the speech? Volume. Was he too loud? Or was he too soft when he spoke? How about the diction? Did he articulate clearly? Did he speak distinctly? Sometimes the speaker has Wi-Fi technical glitches and they're not heard. So it really hampers the delivery of that speech. So speakers have to be very careful when they come and deliver their speeches. And that is how the judge is going to be perceiving your speech. All these things matter very, very much when you are attempting a humorous speech contest. Language, the language portion of the speech. First one is appropriateness. When I say appropriateness, it means, was the language correct for that speech or for the audience to understand? Did the speaker's language convey the message that was supposed to be done? Last but not the least, the correctness. Here I would say grammar, pronunciation, enunciation, choice of words and grammar. Was the speaker convincing in terms of portraying his thoughts to the audience? Did the speaker show mastery over the language in which he or she was speaking? There, for this language segment, you have 15 points to give. So it's not easy. You have to take very good care in terms of, and this is the possible score. I'm sure all of us, whoever have been a voting judge, has never given 100 to anyone, because as I said, there is no perfect speech ever. Now I'd like to stop sharing. Before I go to questions, I'd like to do a small demo here. I'll be picking someone who will be delivering a speech, and I'm going to pick up someone else who's going to be evaluating that speech. Agreed? All of you? How many of you want it? How many of you don't want it? Don't say I don't want. Come on. Yes, can we go ahead with this?
Yes, please.
A very short speech.
Yes,
and to deliver that speech, I'm going to pick no one else but our very own PQD, Distinguished Toastmaster Sanjukta. And the person who's going to be evaluating this speech for us today is the one who delivered the first segment of today's event, DTM Beena Mandrekar. She is going to be evaluating DTM Sanjukta's speech. Now, I need someone who can time DTM Sanjukta's speech.
I can do that, DTM Usha.
Thanks, DTM Kanchan. Go ahead, please.
So
now
it would be a 2-minute speech, Distinguished Toastmaster Kanchan.
We were looking forward for 5 to 7 minutes, but we don't mind this.
Your time starts now, DTM Sanjukta.
When you think you will have a Sunday where you would just sit in front of the laptop and enjoy a wonderful session of training. That is when all hell breaks loose, when you find the trainer nominates you to be part of a role play. And that also giving a speech in a contest, which for me is quite an affair I keep far away from. It's interesting to see faces in these black boxes. Some black boxes do not have faces now. I can see my timer hovering around. My evaluator is busy writing away in glory. And I think, is this the kind of Sunday that I want? Or is it the Sunday that I had before the session, having a lovely, sumptuous Bengali breakfast, which was luchi and aloo tarkari, which means puri and a dish made of potato. You can see this is the worst kind of contest impromptu speech that you would have heard. And if you are trying to decipher what is the context, what is it that I'm speaking about, I would definitely let you know when I myself get to know about it. I'm not sure what is the time that I am looking at. My timer is still not giving me any sign of where I am.
It's 1 minute, 30 seconds.
I would not want to do this at a real contest. However, at a real contest, I would love to see these faces because y'all are going to be my voting judges when I'm contesting. So I would love to see these expressions in the same way, no matter what I am saying, how I am saying it. And of course, if you're a chief judge, like I did right now see Distinguished Toastmaster Beena, I would like to see a smile there too. But I don't see that. With that, I'll give it back to Distinguished Toastmaster Usha.
Very well done, Sanjukta, for an impromptu speech. She wasn't aware that I'm going to be giving her this opportunity to speak. And Beena definitely didn't know that I was going to give her this role as an evaluator today. So I think, I know it's not correct, but I think this goes to show how well we can be prepared. Like they say, expect the unexpected. Beena, here comes the unexpected. Go ahead and do the evaluation. Kanchan, 2, 2.5, 3, please.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Start. Beena.
Good afternoon, Toastmasters. And I have the onerous task of evaluating our PQD. Here goes. It was an impromptu speech, she admitted, and she spoke about the wonderful Sunday she could have had it not been for the training. So here's the problem. She wanted to have a peaceful Sunday with her typically traditional Bengali breakfast, all of which she and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So she evocated pangs of hunger within us with her wonderful descriptions and images of the luchi and torkari. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what have they made for lunch, which I can now leave this and go and have it. So the image was very powerfully portrayed in terms of the food that you would have loved to have had. That is her problem. She said instead, she had to sit in front of black boxes, some white, some black, some faces smiling, some not, and to deliver a speech. Very well depicted about the troubles that you had, about the images that you showed us. But here, one recommendation I would like to give is you did not solve the problem for us. You left us in a very sad position of down there, on the one hand, good breakfast, on the other hand, training, which you have to see faces of. So I wish, Toastmaster Sanjukta, you had given us a solution to your problem and lifted us out. Maybe you could have told us that despite having to sacrifice that wonderful breakfast, I enjoyed the training so much. So instead of the food for my stomach, I had food for thought. And that would have left us in a very happy state of affairs or state of mind. Having said that, I would like to summarize by saying that you gave us lovely images of your breakfast. You gave us a positive start to your speech, but you left us there and down without solving the problem in which we got involved inevitably, and then you didn't solve it for us. Had you done that, we would have all been uplifted. So, but I love the way you took up the challenge and you rose to the occasion. So kudos on that. And over to you.
I love the way, Beena, you took up the challenge and rose up to the occasion. Kudos to you too. Thank you so much. Very well done. I think they deserve a big round of applause. Come on, everyone, switch on your videos. I'm sure after asking Beena all the questions that you had in your mind, there will be no questions for me. I pray. Thank you. Any questions now? Yes, Mayank.
Okay. So, ma'am, more from the scenario point of view, when a protest is raised by one contestant against another contestant, how will the chief judge and others will handle this scenario in a respectful and diligent way?
Yes.
You may please enlighten.
Yeah, sure. I've had this. I've had a session or at a contest. I have gone through this particular thing that you said. There was the contest was going on, and one contestant came to me and said that no, the speaker who just spoke now actually copied it from YouTube, this particular episode and did not even mention it and all. And he brought me the proof. And this was all done outside the room. This was a physical contest. But now, and then we took him outside and we spoke with him. I spoke with him. I saw the video and I realized that what he was saying was true, was correct. So I told him to go back to I kept the video with me. I called the contestant and I said that nothing to worry, but this is what, there is a complaint. And the contestant didn't have, couldn't refuse it because it was there right in front of him. And he agreed that, yes, I copied it, but I didn't mention it. I mentioned it as my own. So without any hassle, there were no fights, there were no arguments, nothing. Both the victim, as you call the contestant, and the other person who was protesting, we sorted it out. I informed the judges that so-and-so person has to be disqualified. And it was done. So when things go off amicably, it sounds nice. But then sometimes there are issues. Yes. Yes, Beena.
So I thought when we discussed it, I thought we should consult the judges also. You did it on your own? As
No.
Judge?
I sent this video to all the judges. Okay. In the physical meeting, I brought the judges out later.
So you didn't say that.
And then we all spoke. Yeah, we all spoke. And then we agreed that because I had to send the videos to them. They also had to go through it. Yes, Sanjukta.
Usha ma'am, I think what we forgot was we did our role play. I think we were also supposed to use the ballot to make use of it as to what needs to be done.
Since the ballots, I've given the links for the ballots now for, you mean voting for you?
I think we can always ask them that this example that you all got, probably go back and use those ballots and try to see how much has been done.
Now actually she wants to be judged.
No, because the effect of this kit is that you get to also practice that. So maybe that was that was one thing that we could have.
I thought Beena's evaluation of your speech was like a benchmark that she set, and then she set the ball rolling. Now all of them who heard your speech can go ahead and vote for you in whatever way. They can go and check through the ballot and try to do it by themselves.
Fair enough.
Out of 100, Sanjukta, don't worry. Anyone else? Any other questions? Wow. I can't see anyone.
Yeah, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Please.
Yeah, this is Toastmasters. Okay. Yeah, I would like to know,
Ravi Teja. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. I would like to know how many levels of judges. Suppose. 1 second, sir. Sorry. I would like to know how many levels of judges, like level 1, level 2. Suppose first time I'm taking role of a judge, and is there any levels for that next time? Area level judge, district level judge. Is there any kind of levels? I would like to know.
Yes. See, whenever you start as a new voting judge, it is always advisable to start with club, because there the condition is that you have to be a member in good standing. That is the only criteria required to be a voting judge. So it's always best to start from your club, judge at your club levels, and then you get used to the way how judging is done. Straight away, as a new judge, don't go and judge area and division contest. It will be difficult, definitely, as a new judge. You start with the club level and then move on. It is. See, we say that you have to do at least 2 levels, and you should have been with the program for 6 months. But listen to more speeches. Listen to how evaluations are done. Go and attend contests and watch how contestants are speaking. And I would always do this, okay? Even if I'm not a judge at a contest, I have the ballot sheets with me. I would give my own judging. I make for myself. I'm attending a contest. I'm just an attendee there. I'm just attending it as a Toastmaster. I'll even just sit and start marking for myself. This is only for my records. And that's how I learned how to improve on my judging capabilities, skills, I would say that. So if you're new, you're very new to Toastmasters, start with club level judging.
And how many kinds of judges? Chief judge, voting judge?
Now we have a chief judge, you have voting judges, and you have a tie-breaking judge at a contest.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Jyoti Bhatt. Go ahead, please, Jyoti.
So what I wanted to ask was, if an HSC contestant doesn't have any message in his speech, does a VJ has to mark him down?
You don't mark people down. Actually, if your speech, if it depends on what your speech is all about. Maybe that the speech does not have any message, or you're just trying to entertain us, especially because it's a humorous speech contest. You're entertaining us, but maybe you don't realize that you're not specifically giving us a message, but through that content of your speech or through the body of your speech, you're already giving us a message. So everything is in the content of your speech. Yes, Beena.
Yeah, so you don't mark him down, but that portion which you just explained,
Yes.
effectiveness or value.
You may not give him as much as you would like to give him.
You may not give marks there.
Yeah.
No? 10 marks or 15
You don't
marks.
mark him down, but you may not mark him there.
Not mark him.
Yeah,
correct.
That's it. Yes, Shravan.
Ma'am, thanks for the very informative session, ma'am. My question is, by default, human mind is programmed to be tend to favorite or what likes and dislikes by default human mind. In such situation, how a judge, is there any tips and tricks to follow, not to, without consciousness, we may tend to be biased. So
No,
how?
I don't think, because I think then I would say as a Toastmaster, at that point of time, you are only a Toastmaster. This you have to get it into your mind. And like Beena says, slap that voting judge if he or she does that like that. No, you can't afford to be biased. Never. You are actually ruining that speaker's future.
Yeah, it's a very tough call. I mean, it's a very tough call.
It is. It's not a tough call. That's why I say you started from club level.
Oh, okay.
Yes. You, as a Toastmaster, the minute you are a voting judge, it's a very big responsibility. You cannot allow any bias. And I think we have gone through this. I have gone through this so many times. So many of my favorite Toastmasters have been contestants, but maybe on that particular day, they may have not, it may have not been their day. So even if they think, okay, this one has come, he or she is going to vote for me. No, it can't. At that point of time, that person ceases to be my friend or a very, very good friend, but only a Toastmaster.
So the parameters which are given in the sheet, that can be considered.
Yes, you have to consider only that.
That point. Yeah.
Only that, yes. You can't take up emotions and all there. No. Yeah.
So we should plan even before going to play a role of judge. We have
need to make your mind very strong, Shravan.
Yep.
Hi everyone, Distinguished Toastmaster Usha, you have an amber now. I have given you 10 minutes extra. However, before we continue with the questions, you have seen that our Distinguished Toastmaster Mayank has pasted a message. So what is expected from all the attendees here? Many of you have come in just by having the meeting link. You all had not registered. We would need your details. So first request is please go and re-register for the same training so that we get your email IDs.
Sanjukta, you're eating into my time now.
As a mandate, post this training, do also look at the speech rule book and then take the certification quiz.
Yes.
Post which you would be certified to be taking up these awesome roles of chief judging and voting judges for this season for the year 2022-2023. The quiz needs to be completed at least within 5 days of the training that you took. So please do that, post which we will be sharing the certificates out from the district to your registered email ID. Over to you.
Thank you. Naveen, go ahead, please.
Hey, good evening. Good afternoon,
Good
ma'am.
afternoon.
Great session. I
Thank
had
you.
one confusion in the sequence of events when it comes to disqualification based on time.
Yeah.
So the ballot, I mean, the voting judges would give the ratings, right? 1, 2, 3. And then the tally counter collects it.
Yes.
But now what if there is a disqualification among the first, second, and third on the basis of time? Because the timer comes after that voting judges have given the ratings, right?
That means whom you have chosen as 1, 2, 3. If all three are
Right.
disqualified.
One of them. I mean, if any one of them have
It's okay,
disqualified.
no problem. The tally sheet will be made and then it will be checked. So like Beena said, if so-and-so contestant has, like overshot time, it's taken off. His or her name is taken off.
But if that results in we don't getting one of the positions like first or second or third,
You
do
can't
we then
help it, right?
Okay,
Voting
so
judges are not supposed to take time into consideration.
Okay.
That is.
So we might end up
you
having
have
just
voted,
first and second place as winners.
you won't even know whether you're
Got it.
yes, contestant, because we don't say so and so person was disqualified. We just say there was one disqualification. You may not even know.
Got it. Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vishal, go ahead, please. Vishal?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for the informative session.
Thank you.
My question was that when you're evaluating, you have already given marks to a particular
When you're judging,
person.
not evaluating.
When you're judging, sorry, when you're judging, and then the next contestant comes and you feel after giving them the points that you want to rate somebody relevant relative to the speaker. Is that allowed? I mean, can you go back and change your points because your
Until
points
and
don't
unless you don't give that portion to the chief judge, you can do whatever you want in that ballot sheet.
Okay.
It's up to you.
Okay.
You may, like you said, you may have already marked a particular contestant, and then you go to the next contestant, and then you feel, yeah, this one did better. It's up to you. You can remark, you can correct, you can do erase, whatever you want. But at the end of the day, the bottom portion of that ballot sheet should come with first, second, and third only. No doubts there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think
You're welcome. Yes, Sanat. Hi.
Hi. Yeah. So I had a question on plagiarism. Like if there is someone has plagiarized the content from a book from some other language, or use the content of a book from some other language, and they have paraphrased it and translated it in English. But the idea is from some other book. So how is it recognized then?
He or she, you may call it plagiarism. I would say borrowing it. And if I'm borrowing something from a book, a particular paragraph or a story from a book, then I need to say, I read this in a book. That's why they say 75% should be original. This borrowing and speaking, using it in your speech should be credited to that person from where they borrowed it. We don't say, no, you can't borrow. You can borrow excerpts from books or something, but you need to tell the audience, you need to make it clear that this is borrowed material and this is where I read this story. And then you can connect it to your speech.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, without referencing.
No, you can't refer. Somebody would know it.
Okay.
You bring it from any book you bring, because we have a very diverse culture here. Any book you bring, people will find out here.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, many times we know, especially when the story is being narrated, we know this is not your story. Okay. Yes, Lovell.
Okay.
Yeah, Toastmaster Usha, I just had one question based on about the content what was raised earlier. Look, it was mentioned in one of the rules that at a contest we must not use refer to any what we say, refer to any content what has been used by another contestant. There's a small clarity about that. It mentions about something not using a content or not mention about the contestant, which means what? Suppose alpha and beta are the two speakers at a contest,
Yeah.
and beta mentions alpha in his speech. He's not mentioning any content about alpha's speech, but he is mentioning alpha maybe as one of his prop in his speech or one of his joke in his speech. So is that one criteria for cutting off points?
Disqualification, you mean?
No, not for disqualification, for what we say. Yeah, you can say
Or
for
marking them down.
disqualification, because he's referring to another contestant. So that rule has to be made little clear, whether it is only the
Only the
contestant.
content. I think Beena read it out from the rule book. It says only the content. Some other contestants' speech content. You can't refer to that.
Okay, so what we can a contestant can use another contestant as a sort of a prop.
I would say as much as possible, try to avoid getting into these controversies. Okay, there are so many other contestants. There are so many other Toastmasters. Give somebody else's name now. Why do you want to stick to that contestant only? That's why.
Okay.
Okay.
I think distinguished Toastmaster Kanchan has a question.
Yes, Kanchan, go ahead.
Yeah, DTM Usha, I wanted to tell that it was clearly told in the last sessions and trainings that we can't give reference of any Toastmaster in the room, around, or previous speeches when you're giving your speech. So if there is a yes, so
why
for
would it be
example,
only contestants? Referencing is only for any other contestant in the same contest. You cannot reference another contest or a speech presented by another contestant during that contest. If
even
there
in the
are other
reference-
Toastmasters, like for example, we have 5 contestants here, and out of that, Jai Singh is not a contestant. I can refer to him. Why not? He or she has nothing to do with my contest in terms of he's not a contestant
but
in my
reference
contest.
of Toastmasters or connecting to a name, they said, for example, if I give reference of DTM Usha, she is not in the part of the contestant, but I can't give use reference of, a Toastmaster.
It doesn't, the speech rule book, contest books does not mention this at all. It only very clearly says that you cannot reference another contestant's
of the same
speech
contest,
which was held in the same contest. If the contestant is in the same, I can talk about your speech which you did 2 years back.
Okay.
But I can't talk about the speech that you did now that way.
Thank you, DTM Usha.
You're welcome.
Yes,
Madam?
DTM Usha, may I?
Yeah,
okay,
please.
there is a point mentioned on referencing in a speech contest rule book.
Yes.
So it says it's point number 4, speech subject and preparation. In that, 25% or less of speech may be devoted to quoting, paraphrasing, or referencing another person's content. Any quoted, paraphrased, or referenced content must be so identified during the speech presentation. Point E says contestant must not reference another contestant or a speech presented by another contestant during their speech at the same contest in which they are competing.
Correct. It's very clear.
So it's page 9 on speech subject and
Sangeeta?
preparation.
My humble request, please, all of us who are going to take up the roles of chief judge and voting judge, do go through the rule book.
Yes, absolutely, please.
Over and over again, and carry this with you always whenever you're taking up the rule. Even if it's online, it should be open so that you can go here and check it. Because these are small nuances that we sometimes get carried.
We usually tell contestants, try not to get involved with all the other contestants in the same contest. Look beyond them. There are so many other Toastmasters you can refer to.
Okay, I think we
Thank
have
you so much,
gone
Sangeeta.
post that time.
Over to you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
So thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Usha. However, all the attendees, we have taken your attendance in the participants list. Again, if you have attended major part of the training, please do also fill up the registration if you have not already done so. Those who have already done it, you don't need to. Then go through the speech rule book, or if you want to attempt the quiz, please attempt the quiz so that we have your data recorded, and then the certifications will be validated and shared on your email.
Sanjukta, I have a small request to all the 111 who are here now. Please send us your feedback.
Yes.
For, I don't know, for Beena also. I would definitely love to have feedback on our session so that if we have not come up to that level of your expectations, we will definitely improve the next time we take up sessions like this. Thank you so much.
Thanks for bringing this up. That's generally the guideline that we follow. Our district administration manager would share the feedback link also to the valid attendees, and that is generally done. So yes, you would receive your individual training feedback. I think Toastmaster Jayesh, please do make a note. We will of course get the email IDs. That makes it more crucial that anyone who's come into this training directly without registering, please do complete the registration. Details have been shared by Distinguished Toastmaster Mayank in the Zoom chat. Let me know if you cannot find the 3 links. The second link of the quiz is the second message that Mayank, Distinguished Toastmaster Mayank, has shared. For example, for Distinguished Toastmaster Karan, you can just have a look at that. Yeah.
Master, please enable me to post the complete chat. I am unable to do it now. I was able to do it earlier.
I think what Toastmaster Jayesh mentioned, it's too long. So probably we have to break it up and share it, and then we can. So we can do it again once. Thank you.
A small question, like are the recordings going to be shared, like if you want to go through the meeting again to see back
the recordings
for this meeting?
I think the slides would be available on the side. Sanjukta will be sharing it.
So the material, the recording will all be shared in our district website. Okay. However, we need time to collate and collaborate, and also there will be an FAQ which will be populated with all kinds of questions and scenarios. So if you have any questions which are not yet answered, or you have some, do write to us. Okay. And we will get back to you. I will share the email ID to you in the next 15 seconds, where you can share the questions related to chief judge or voting judge's role. Okay. Everybody kindly confirm that you are able to at least access the links. Mayank is sharing the second portion of the quiz also soon.
Yeah. Madam PQT, there is a hand raised by Karan V. DTM from IPT.
Yes, Distinguished Toastmaster Karan.
Yeah, hi. The question is majorly posted towards DTM Mayank and DTM Sanjukta. So firstly, Usha ma'am and Beena ma'am, thank you so much for the session. It was extremely wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Mayank and Sanjukta, a small request to the two of you. If the PPTs and the quiz links, whatever has been put on the chat, if it can be shared over email to the registered participants also,
we'll do that.
That will be helpful, because right now the quiz form is actually not accessible. We are getting the message as invalid dynamic link is what I'm getting. I'm not sure if the others are getting the same thing, but I'm getting that. I've been trying it for the last 10-15 minutes now. So if
no worries, I will do that. Point noted.
Thank you.
We will do that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay.
So Jayesh, please do help us out to send out emails to the registered attendees. Only thing is, again, reiterating, if we don't have your email in the registration link, we won't be able to share the email. So please do it if you have not already done it. As I see, we had around 126 participants. Now it's 104. So please make a note and do share it with your co-trainees when you're out of this room. Yeah. And for those for whom these are accessible, go ahead, attempt it, and let's be certified chief judges and voting judges. With that, I would like to thank you all for staying back this extra 30 minutes to have this experience, and I'm sure the excitement would be high. The contest season has already started. Clubs have already started bringing out their orators. Now it is your responsibility to filter out the best orator of this year to go to the district. Thank you so much, and have a great Sunday ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you all.
Everyone.
Have a good weekend ahead.
Have a good weekend. Yes.